Board games are awesome! And no, I'm not trolling you. Splendor is a set collection game with tile and cards designed by Marc-Andre that is all about engine building, which actually has absolutely nothing to do with the theme. The important thing in this game is you are collecting gemstones, and collecting gemstones will let you collect cards, which the cards have permanent gemstones on them, which will help you collect more cards, which will eventually help you collect tiles, which are worth more points. Game ends immediately, well, game ends on the last round as soon as somebody gets 15 victory points, which is achieved by getting the tiles and the cards. This is very much an engine game where you're trying to collect gems and cards in such a way that you can really cascade to victory. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So on your turn in Splendor, you have 4 possible actions. The first action is you get gems. So you pick up those nice, beautiful tokens. The first, most straightforward option on picking up gems is, well, you get to pick 3 of them. So you get 3 of any one color. You can't have duplicates. The other option when picking up gems is if there are 4 gems of a certain color, you can pick up just 2 of those gems. So to get cards, you have to be able to pay the gem amount on the bottom right of the card, which if you have the first edition is not colorblind friendly at all because they're just circles with numbers and the colors in the circles tell you what gems you need. Second edition, they have little gem icons, much more helpful. Whenever you take a card, you have to discard the gems that you need. So if a card needs 2 blue and a white and a red, you have to discard those gem tokens. But when you get that card, on the upper left corner of the card is a gemstone, and you have that gem permanently throughout the game. Basically, you have a free version of that. And that you never have to discard. This is how you build and stack your engine, so it gets easier and easier and easier to get cards, until eventually you don't even have to have the tokens to get the cards you need to try and get more cards which are worth victory points, because the first level of cards aren't really worth victory points. There's like a few that are worth 1 victory point each. Then there's a second layer of cards that are a little bit more difficult. Those are worth victory points. And then there's a third layer of cards, and those are really tough to get, but they're worth a lot of points. So that's Splendor. That's how you play Splendor. Can you see why I say it's a fantastic engine building game? It's because there's just this, it is the boiled down essence of set collection engine games, where you collect things to make sets to enable you to collect cards, which will enable you to collect more sets, to the point where if you do it right, you should be able to just like continually get cards every turn for maybe just 1 or 2 or none of those nice, beautiful poker chips. Because if you play your cards right, haha, you should be able to pick up cards without any tokens at all, which is fantastic. And the game knows this, which is why there's those like bonus tokens, which are worth 3 points for getting certain sets of the gem cards. So, does a game that has fantastic mechanics, very simplistic mechanics that are very easy to teach for a lot of people. You can teach this game to beginners, you can teach this game to gamers. You don't really have a lot of AP problems, but you can think and process and have a little bit of strategy. It's a very smooth game. Once you play it, you feel like you're just playing a really well-oiled machine, which is fantastic. But there's no theme. The theme has no value at all. It doesn't add to the game, it doesn't subtract to the game. It's just this really thing. You're paying for the theme when you pay and buy this game. So, again, does this make it a good game? Does this make it a bad game? With 2 players, we like Jaipur much better for a set collection, somewhat not really engine building. There's no real engine building in Jaipur game. When you get above 2 players with this game, it gets better. Because this game boils down to just a really well-oiled mechanical machine with no theme, and no theme to make the game more interesting in that regard, what ends up happening is once you learn basically the mechanics and the machine of this game becomes very dry. It becomes very just like this. And there's some interesting decisions in regards to what cards come out as far as replayability goes, or playing with people that you haven't played with before, but for me, as somebody that builds engine, I love engine building games, and I loved Splendor when it came out, but now I've played it enough to the point where it's just not interesting for me. In the end, Splendor is a great engine building game with a theme that is basically non-existent. It is a game with no spice. It is a game that is bland and basic, and the same thing you've been drinking, or sorry, playing for forever eventually when you play it. Nothing changes, nothing twists. Yeah, okay, it's good when you're getting into the hobby. It's good for the people that are intro. It's good for getting into engine building, and it's nice when you just want a straightforward engine builder, okay? Is this a fantastic game? I'd say no. A lot of people would say yes. What do you say?